for 18 years. And that's my bread and butter, is being able to handshake with people and grab coffee with people and stuff like that. So I got really tired of the virtual, everything is a Zoom meeting, all that kind of jazz. So first of all, jump right into it. I just want to thank Mike and Amy for hosting this. This is absolutely wonderful. Michelle and Heidi for introducing us to the Dobsons. Been lucky. I've never in all our years of operating had to market as far as like paid marketing. Everything we get comes through referrals, and that's how I like it. A little bit of a backstory about how I got into this business. I was just like you guys, looking for passive income. I had a partner at the financial firm, and we had a guy that worked for us and brought us this information on an e-com management company. They were doing a thing called drop shipping. How many of y'all are familiar with drop shipping, right? So different drop shipping.
Drop shipping.
Different, I guess you call them chassis to, the e-com world. But one of the things we take very serious is our clients' money, right? Because these things are not cheap to start. It's like Michelle said, it's starting a business online. There is no worse feeling in the world than writing a check for $55 grand to a company and not hearing from them for 8 months.
Oh gosh.
Guess who got to go through that 4 times over? A lot of you, first time meeting me, the worst thing you can do with me is piss me off. And I don't mean that in a hey, I'm gonna come get you kind of way, although I did tell those people I would. I got very angry when I started referring a lot of my friends, my childhood friends, people I've known since 4th grade, to these guys. Because obviously, you see a good idea, you see a good opportunity, you want to share that with people. These are people that were also not just friends, they were also financial services clients. So that added another layer of mess to the whole thing. But during the whole thing of figuring out these guys were either taking our money and not doing what they said they were going to do, through networking, we learned how to do what's called FBA private label. I'm going to get into a little bit of a PowerPoint here just to kind of illustrate some of the things I'm saying. But how many people in this room, show of hands, have bought something on Amazon in the last week?
Oh my gosh.
Every day.
Every day.
We're on first name basis with our UPS driver.
How many people have bought something online in the last week?
Oh gosh.
Yes.
Right?
That's how you shop.
So pathetic.
That's just how you shop. That's how everybody shops.
There are, somebody give me a guess. How many sellers would you think are on Amazon right now?
6 million.
Close.
That's good, Heidi.
Wow.
Anybody else?
I was going to say 100,000.
Yeah.
I was going to say 8 million.
You went over, she wins. It's about 5-6 million.
Who said it? I didn't say it.
Heidi said.
Oh, Heidi knew.
Heidi said it.
I didn't know actually.
Good.
Now, how many of those would you think are what we call private label sellers? Or for a better term, like mom and pop, not the big corporations, not
85%.
I was gonna say 80%.
60%.
80%?
close, about half.
Oh, only half. Okay.
Amy's been doing her homework. So yeah, it's about half of every seller you see on Amazon is a private label person, just like the clients we manage. There's a little bit of what I just said. You got wholesale, so there's FBA wholesale that's fulfilled by Amazon. That just means that you're basically getting a good deal on Clorox bleach and you're buying a ton of it and you're selling that wholesale on Amazon. What the important thing about the FBA part is that means all that product is going to Amazon's warehouse. So they're fulfilling that.
Wait, what is? Can you define what FBA means? Sorry.
Fulfilled by
Fulfilled by
Amazon.
Amazon.
Oh, I'm
Yep.
sorry.
Versus the dropship model, where you're basically making orders from another source. People are going to your Amazon site and saying, I want that pressure washer, but that pressure washer might be coming from Home Depot. Now, Amazon got really ticked at drop shipping. When I got into this as a client and they told us we were going to be drop shipping, the way they explained to us was, because I did my research and I'm like, Amazon doesn't like drop shipping. Why are y'all doing this? Well, we're not drop shipping. We're doing retail arbitrage. Basically what they were selling us on is that they had their own warehouse. So they would list these products on Amazon. Customer goes on, places the order. They might buy the product from Home Depot, Walmart, Lowe's, but the product is supposed to be shipped to the e-com management company's warehouse, repackaged, and then it goes out to the client. Well, they weren't doing that. They were getting an order, placing it right on HomeDepot.com and sending it to Frank's house from Home Depot. And Frank's going, yeah, I ordered this pressure washer, but I ordered this from Amazon. Why is it coming from Home Depot? So with enough complaints like that, Amazon started getting wise to what they were doing. Amazon, we'll touch on this more in a minute. Amazon does not care about you. I cannot stress that enough. Amazon, let me touch on this for a minute before I get too far into this. The wheel of Amazon, as we like to call it, this right here, save more time, cost effective. Those are the two biggest things for a seller, right? Is why is Amazon a good thing to sell on? Is because people are literally on Amazon shopping for everything every second of the day. There is no other platform out there like it. Now Walmart's trying to come up and compete with it a little bit. That's a whole other story. Well, Walmart tried to recreate the Prime experience, failed miserably, ended up shutting 80,000 sellers down in a day. I was one of them. I had one of those stores too. If y'all keep track, I'm up to about $250,000 lost money. So just keep that number in mind.
This was one of my attractive. No, because George has had
He's
a
made
lot
all
of
the
mistakes
mistakes,
and
yep.
a lot of experience that we can learn from.
Absolutely.
And George has been very upfront with his mistakes and
Yeah.
some of the
Mistakes make us who we are. I just wish that it wasn't $250,000 worth of mistakes.
Right.
Sure.
Let me show y'all.
George,
Yeah.
the sellers that you're saying there, how much of them are domestic United States versus international sellers that have a warehouse here?
How much is it supposed to be, or how much is
I'm just trying to figure out, is your competition, in essence, for selling domestic sellers, or are you competing against China, who has a warehouse in San Francisco?
Amazon has presence everywhere. There's Amazon Canada, Amazon Mexico. Our biggest, I won't say our biggest competition, our biggest pain in the butt is China. From the standpoint of, technically, Amazon does not want Chinese sellers that aren't based here, right? They don't want your business based in China.
Right.
Now, we get a lot of our product from China, but it's because we're dealing with manufacturers and then we're bringing it into the FBA warehouses. One of the things that has become very, very prevalent over the last 12 to 18 months is hijacked listings. What that means is you will see Chinese sellers pick a product. We've had this happen to us. They will come on and say, this product's selling really well. What if we can find a way to hijack that listing where we're selling the same thing, but if people go to Michelle and Heidi's page to buy a stone tray, they think they're buying it from Hearthstone, but they're really buying it from a Chinese supplier. Now, Amazon's doing a lot to crack down on that. But to answer your question, Amazon is very particular, or tries to be, about having U.S.-based sellers for the U.S. market. We'll come back to that in a little bit.
What about TikTok Shop? How does that compare in the whole scheme of everything?
Be honest, I'm not very familiar with TikTok Shop. I know that it translates a lot from influencers, you know, that can have like Instagram links, things like that will bring you back to Amazon.
It also plugs into Temu. I think there's a lot of Temu stuff on TikTok.
It's got everything. My kids, stuff shows up from their purchases.
Yeah, but Amazon does, regulate that stuff more than people realize. For instance, say you list a product on Amazon for $30. You can't, Amazon will watch you. You can't go list that same thing under that same brand on eBay for 40. They'll delist your Amazon. It's gangsters, you know what, but
It's a wild, wild west.
Yeah.
And does AI play into all?
huge,
Yeah.
huge. Yeah. Bezos he ain't on that $30 million yacht for nothing.
That's stupid.
I want to show y'all this slide. I got a GIF of a Grand Slam. This is one of the first products we launched. It was a seat cushion. I'm gonna tell y'all right now, there is absolutely jack you know what special about this seat cushion. It's literally a piece of foam rubber. We launched it during COVID. Everybody's working from home. Everybody wanted a more comfortable office chair. We started off March of that year. You know, modest price, $25.99, $27, $26. The first one we did was that purple one. It started going 10 grand revenue a month. Then we hit 20. Then we hit 30. Next thing you know, we're like, hey, let's add another color. So we added another color. And then that one started hitting 10, 20, 30. And then we said, all right, let's do blue. And that one started coming up. So we had purple, blue, red, and black. This was March of 2020, June of 2020, another one June of 2020, May of 2021. That's $133,000 a month of revenue, 143 a month of revenue, 138,000 a month of revenue, and 143.
Stupid numbers.
No
Stupid
way
numbers.
saying that this is the norm.
Right.
I only show this to people so you see the power of what private label can be. Now, Amazon has changed a lot of rules since then, so that makes it even tougher for us as a management company to keep up and try to replicate this stuff. But my point is, it's not like we're reinventing the wheel here with product. It's stuff people use every day. It could be that, it could be a stone tray, it could be a charcuterie board, it could be, you know, a grill caddy, a watch case. I mean, anything like that we put our research in and we say, look, this thing's got the margins, we feel good about it. Again, I'm not saying it could turn into that, but the good thing is when I learned how to do private label, selling that brand is what allowed us to start JG3. One of the big important, go ahead.
So real quick question. So, is that's top line revenue? Is that right? So do you know what, like, I mean, the like you don't have like margin in there or anything like that, right? Like, so
No, that's just revenue. Those are all probably working on about a 20-25% revenue.
yeah,
Profit.
yeah, okay,
So I mean, you know, do the math on that.
yep, okay,
Times 4 SKUs.
yeah.
One of the things people ask us all the time is, if you guys are so good at this, why do you scale it for other people? Why don't you just have like 10 Amazon stores? Amazon only allows one seller account per household. So
Can you have multiple products?
you got multiple products and you have multiple brands. It's a lot to manage. Now, the going back to the whole dropship thing, what I was saying before, Amazon doesn't care about you. You get a violation, they will give you the death penalty. I still to this day cannot have an Amazon store in my name. They said, you're drop shipping, you're done. So, not to scare anybody, but
No, it just, you're speaking to the fact that it's not something you can just go in and do all by yourself. You
Right.
better have somebody who's a Sherpa who's going to navigate the waters for you,
Right.
because it can be treacherous.
Again, speaking on some of the products, colander bowls, watch cases, paintbrush holders, dog bowl sets, stone trays, which is my favorite.
Thank you. It's our favorite too.
Ziploc bag organizers, grill caddies, pet bowls, cigar trays, although I'd never do another cigar tray. Appliance slider, that one's in there. Travel pillows, just a wide array. It doesn't have to be any one category. The only reason I say that one gave us trouble, Amazon didn't tell us that we weren't allowed to run ads on anything to do with smoking.
Oh,
But they
tobacco.
waited until after we had 500 units sitting in their warehouse before they told us. So still a great product.
So with your dog bowl, you get a cigar.
Exactly.
Dogs playing poker?
Yeah. But again, like I said earlier, I mean, it's literally just stuff that sells. You know, we have software that we use that tells us what every seller on Amazon is doing from a profitability standpoint.
Mhm.
How much revenue they're doing, how many units they sold, how much their price point is on everything. We don't go to market with anything unless it's been thoroughly researched.
Yeah, I should say, so when we
Hey, there's
started
Jason.
meeting with you, George will send you a list of items that are kind of in their pipeline that they've been researching, what's trending, what's selling.
Yep.
So we had a list, and so we basically there was a travel charcuterie board, so it's in there if you haven't seen it. We're excited because it hasn't even, I don't know that it's actually made it from China to the U.S. yet, but it's on the boat.
Where's it at, Zach?
But
On the boat.
but we were looking at a product, I think similar to Michelle, that wasn't necessarily restricted by gender, by, you could buy it as a gift, you could buy it for yourself. There were, like we had thought about the dog bowls, but, only like half the population has dogs. So anyway, but they've done all the research to show you like what's kind of trending.
Everybody knows who this guy is.
Oh yeah.
I won't read this whole thing verbatim, but how many of you have ever had a return or an issue through Amazon?
Oh, they're great with buyers.
Right.
Fan-freaking-tastic.
So buyers, everybody sees little bizarro Lex Luthor there. That just, he's made his mission statement for his company to take care of customers and make sure they're priority. And I will say he has done a fantastic job on that front. You have a problem with Amazon, you need a return, they'll handle it. So this is how most people outside of the seller world see Jeff Bezos. This is how we see Jeff Bezos. When I tell y'all they are the mafia, I am not lying.
Their world.
They gave me the death penalty, I ain't come back yet.
Yeah.
As a seller.
Yeah.
I'll say this, Amazon is so big that you have to have help navigating when you have issues, right? Because something that might seem simple to fix on like a seller account or an issue with a product, Amazon's like anywhere else. I mean, I used to joke around that I hated Spectrum cable because every time I called, it was like you had to talk to 5 people to get one answer. Well, Amazon is 5 million times worse than that. So you a lot of times you can't even talk to a person. They don't even have a number for us to call as sellers. You have to log on through your account, create a case, say this is my issue, and then you can hit a call me now button. And
Buyers is they kind of hide from buyers speaking to them directly. They're more than willing to let you email them and say, okay, fine, don't even bother mailing it back to us. We'll give you your money back. But that's what they say, and they don't want to talk to you.
It's cheaper to do that
Yep.
than it is to
And then
manage it.
the owners of that store have to deal with the
That.
fallout
Right.
of that, right? Who is JG3 and why do you need us? We fight the mafia.
Yeah. Will you share this PowerPoint with me so I can
Yes,
send it to my California? Okay,
absolutely.
great. This is good.
This is our management teams. Me is Big Zach right there. Ben, Alex. Alex heads up our West Coast team. We basically have 2 teams. We have an East Coast team and a West Coast team. West Coast handles more of our like back end operations. So a lot of the PPC management, a lot of the reporting, things like that. Zach, Ben, they're more kind of like Heidi said, account managers. They're the liaison between the JG3 client and Amazon. But that's who's fighting in, and it does feel sometimes like we are the untouchables trying to fight. Full-scale management company that builds services, fully operating private label Amazon stores. You guys all said it going around the room. The name of the game is passive income. We wanted to create something that the clients only really have to deal with once or twice a month. You're giving your input where you want it, If you don't want to be involved in that process, that's fine too. We're still going to check in and say, hey, what do you think about this? The other thing, as far as what we offer, is, you know, like I told you guys before, you write a check for 55 grand in our case, and you don't hear from anybody for 8 months. I told everybody that we started with 3 people, including me. Those first 2 are no longer here. I built another team after that included Ben and Alex, and then eventually Zach came on. Zach was a client. Zach was one of our first clients. And I tell everybody when they come work for us, if I ever hear that you've not responded to a client, you're done. Like, I don't even want to, not within reason, right? Like, I'm talking 24, 48 hours turnaround, something like that. But I never, ever want.
You give them the.
Yep, you're fired.
I never want people to feel like we did. Yeah, and that's very important to us. The best analogy I've come up with over the years is if you're a real estate investor and you're out looking for a property and you want to, you know, buy it, find a renter to get in there, create passive income. That's a lot like what we do. The only difference is we're finding your land, we're surveying the land, we're finding your house plans, we're building the house, then we're getting somebody to come and live in the house, we're collecting the rent, and we're managing that from pretty much every stage. No, we don't have a team of Amish farmers that are going to go to your Amazon store, but you guys get the idea. You know, houses are also in that class that I love from my financial services days. They are assets. The difference in wholesale versus private label, wholesale brands, you don't really have a brand name you can sell. Right? If you want to be a wholesale seller and you just want to sell, like I said, Clorox bleach or you know, General Mills cereal or something like that, if you can get the license, well, the brand is still General Mills or still Clorox bleach. You can't sell that as an asset. Private label, and what I love about it, like Storybook Living is the name of their brand, Hearthstone is the name of their brand. Mm-hmm. They own that. There are third-party sellers, or I'm sorry, third-party investors that come along and watch these brands on Amazon. They just don't want to go through the growing pains of what we go through as a management company and building the thing up. So I love it from the simple fact of you can sell these things as assets, just like I did with the seat cushion, just like Zach did with his brand. So it's not just you know, build this thing and collect passive income. It's actually an asset that grows, and as the brand grows, your portfolio grows. How do we build from scratch? This is probably the main expense that every seller has to deal with beyond the initial fee that's invested with us. Has anybody heard of PPC ads, pay-per-click ads? Right, Sam, you're really
Yes, Sam, you're an expert.
Everybody knows what like SEO, search engine optimization, is, right?
Okay.
Google has that. Amazon has their own SEO system. It's a lot of that AI stuff, right? When you first start out as a new brand, so we'll say 1 to 8 months of launch, your reviews are down here. You have none, right? Nobody knows who you are. So that means that we have to buy ad space to drive traffic to your listings. That's the number 1 expense. Now, what do you guys think Amazon's number 1 source of revenue is?
Ad space.
Yeah,
Exactly right.
ad space.
It used to be the cut of everything they got from everything that was selling. Now it's ad space. When's the last time anybody here has been to a mall?
Ugh,
We went yesterday.
I'm sorry.
She has
It was
3 girls.
painful.
2 teenagers.
So one out of the group, right? I hate malls now.
I have been.
I used to love malls. I'm a very like hands-on. Like, I want to buy a pair of shoes. I want to go see the shoes and try them on and all that.
Yeah, but the beauty of Amazon, you can order 10 pairs and ship them all back.
That's right. That's great.
That's what I do.
That's me too.
Exactly right.
Saves me a trip to the mall.
Yep. So we've become a very hands-off society. So that the more hands-off we became, the more competitive it got on Amazon, which made PPC ads that much more important. When you're talking about scaling the store, though, this is usually what happens. Your reviews are down here, your ads are up here. As you grow organically, that starts to invert.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need as much PPC ads. Now, I'm going to be very honest with everybody in the room. Michelle and Heidi know this. Your first couple months of ad spend sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because you're like, who did I sign up with? Did these guys take my money? What are all these charges from Amazon? Getting charged with my credit line? That's the ads, right? It's just a matter of getting over the hump and making your brand noticeable and making it rank on Amazon. Once you start ranking, you see a lot of the red turns to green. That is where you really take off. It's like Michelle was saying when she first got here, I noticed another Stone Tray is selling for like $30 for one. They've got a 2-pack. For what do y'all price that now?
20. It's like in the 20s.
Yeah.
It's really affordable.
The reason that $30 1-pack is selling is because they ranked.
They have 75 reviews. They've paid a lot of money to get that, I'm sure.
Yep.
We'll get there.
You will. You're on the way.
Will.
These ladies are actually probably, I tell them all the time, but they're probably 3 to 4 months ahead of everybody else in their group.
He means by all of us that were launched around the same time.
Everybody that launched the same time we did. I'd love to take credit for that, but we can't. We don't know how a product's going to go, when it launches or how fast it's going to scale.
But can you analyze, like looking at the other ones, why you think that their product did better than the others? Was it price point? Was it, the market who they're marketing to?
There's also like little tricks that you can do. Like I reach out to tons of influencers. That's how I contribute to our successes. I'm constantly like, hi, I love your page. Would you consider promoting us?
And then do you send them one and just,
I had one that I'm not even filming you. I'm filming the window. Sorry, I took you out of my. I can't do 2 things at once. We had one that we got real lucky. I called it the whale. She had 1.1 million followers, and she was great. They didn't ask. They need content. Yeah. So she's like, yeah, I'll do your tray. She did a great job, and I think we got 30 orders from it. 25, 30 orders. Oh, 30. Yeah, and I was like, that's amazing. Because every one of her people, then hopefully it trickles down to other. Yeah, it's like a pebble in a pond. It just starts rippling.
One thing to talk about real quick too is something called Amazon Brand Registry. That's something that's become more and more important over the last 12 months. When we first started launching stores, brand registry was there, but it just wasn't a necessity. What brand registry does is it trademarks your brand through Amazon. We actually changed some of our pricing structures now. That's included from day one. That's how important it's become. Because I had to go back to a lot of clients that were in their first year and say, hey, we got to add this on as another expense for brand registry. It's become that important to have. What brand registry does is adds a layer of protection through Amazon. So like what I talked about earlier on those hijack listings, if you're not brand registered with Amazon, and you see a Chinese seller that's selling your stuff and hijacks your listing, Amazon does not care. You can report it to them, and Amazon will go, are you brand registered? Nope, sorry. Have an attorney send them a letter. You know how expensive it is and worthless it is to send a letter from an attorney to somebody in China. It ain't gonna go nowhere. Brand registry though, if you get everything done and set up properly, if you make that complaint and you say, Amazon, they're selling my product, we're brand registered, Amazon will shut them down within 24 hours usually. Another thing it does is it opens up something called the Divine program. The Divine program is Amazon's review program. So they'll say, hey, we've got these list of reviewers, this product's enrolled. All these reviewers will go to your page and buy your product through Amazon and leave reviews. So it's like an automatic boost of 30 reviews per UPC or ASIN as we call it. That has become imperative with helping people rank, especially early on. getting back to what we were talking about earlier, you know, selling these brands as an asset. Most of the time, they can sell between 1.5 to 2 times annual revenue. Just depends on the metrics and the margins, but as I said earlier, they're not just built for passive income. The thing that it takes with building these things is patience. It's patience on our side, it's patience on the client side. This is not a, you know, sign a contract with JG3 and you've got $5,000 a month rolling in by month 3. It doesn't work like that. These things take time to build like any business does. And the, well, there's my little slide. Thanking our wonderful host. But it's also like riding the wave of Amazon. Amazon can change the rules on us at any time. Now, usually it's not anything as drastic that it's going to really mess with your seller account. I'll give you guys an example. We had Gmails set up. We set those up for every store. So that's your store's email. That's the way Amazon communicates with you. As a team, we have access to that. You have access to that. So if Amazon sends us a message, our team's on top of it. A lot of times, though, when you're logging in through that message, so they send you an email and have a link, they want to do a 2-step verification. How many of you love 2-step verification? So last year, we were all good because we'd set up the Gmails, we'd set up a Google Voice, the 2 steps would go to the Google Voice. All of a sudden one day, Amazon says, we're not going to allow Google Voice anymore. No warning, no heads up, no nothing. So for about a week, he used to have hair. I'm just kidding, he ain't never had hair. But we literally went crazy because we had to go and basically figure out how to get on the phone with every owner, get them to log in through owner's credentials. Then they created a QR code that goes to a Google Authenticator app and wanted us to go in that way. You know how much time it took to do like 47 stores? And until we did those stores, we were literally like dead in the water. You couldn't see your sales, you couldn't manage your inventory, you couldn't do squat. So those are the type of things that, and then like, as soon as we get everything fixed, like a week later, Amazon let us use Google Voice again. But it was really like.
At least you don't have to do it. They do it.
It was like they realize sometimes they goof up. And they're like, man, we shouldn't have done that because it affected like 2 million sellers that now can't get in their account. But that's just a roller coaster riding with Amazon. Me and Zach, I'm not gonna say we don't get ticked off at it anymore, but there's just some days we're like, hey, throwing another punch at us. So let's just ride with it. But that's basically what our job is to keep you guys from having to deal with that on a day-to-day basis. Obviously, like I said, we had to call those owners that day and say, hey, we need you to log in real quick. This is imperative. But everybody was mostly cool about it. So that's it for the PowerPoint. That's my information.
Oh, you got the babies on there.
Those are the loves of my life besides my wife, Archie and Andy. I started wearing my Hawaiian shirt she had made for me tonight that actually has
No, don't worry.
He
still loves you, Biscuit.
I want to just open it up to questions. If you guys have anything.
I was going to say, it might be helpful just to go through like what the options are that you offer.
And like the partnership, how that works, all that, because I like it.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to do a store by yourself.
No, I mean like the partnership with you, like the split and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah, details on split. I mean, I don't even think you guys know this. We've actually changed a couple of our entry-level packages. Right?
Oh, I don't know.
You can either start with a 1-product or a 2-product store. Now that can be a variation. It can be, for example, charcuterie board in there that comes with all the accessories versus one that doesn't. The reason why I won't say sway our clients toward that now is it's a lot more cost effective from an ad to do it that way. For example, we've got some stores that one might be a pet product, completely different category than home and kitchen. you're paying though for 2 different sets of ad campaigns for each of those, and that can get expensive. So what we found is, what we found is, what we found is it's a lot more cost effective for you guys, and it's a lot less out of pocket for the ads. If we can run, for example, like the stone trays, right? They have a silver set and a gold set. Well, they're technically 2 different listings, 2 different ACEs, but we can use a lot of those same keywords to drive traffic to both. So it's kind of a kill 2 birds with 1 stone type deal. So we have different options. I mean, there's nothing really like set in stone with what we have to do, but I always give clients the disclaimer: if you are going to do 2 products in 2 different categories, that's the thing you got to realize is it's going to cost more up front as far as the ads go.
Can you tell them what the investment is for 1 product, 2 products?
Yeah, 1 product right now is $45,000. The other one, do 2 products is $55,000. Again, that does include brand registry, your initial round of order, from the suppliers, your initial round of shipping, which has become way more expensive, than it used to be. And like I said, the everything of getting you set up, doing all the keyword research, getting your PPC ads optimized, as we call them, because that's a big thing. Usually your first probably 2 weeks of going live, we're really not hitting it hard because we're kind of testing different keywords to see what drives traffic. But we do have 2 kind of more, I don't want to call them entry level. They're definitely less upfront, but they come with a monthly management fee. So that's different than the higher tier packages where we're just basically charging a 70-30 profit split, 70 to the client, 30 to us. But there's no profit split due until obviously you guys start making money. With the other ones, it's a lot less upfront. It's $25,000 for a 1 product, $35,000 for a 2 product, and then depending on how many products determines your monthly management fee. But if you stretch that out, just doing the math, let's just say you do a 1 product for $25,000 up front. It's a $900 a month fee. You'd have to pay that fee for 2 years to equal what the $45,000 would be with the other option, the higher priced option. So again, all of them include the same thing though, as far as the work you get from us, first round of manufacturing, first round of orders.
I like that split, and what I like, that was my takeaway. Mike had his when I met with you. I like that he and his team are 30% partners because they have skin in the game, right? So so you ask, how does he make his money? That's how he wants the store to be successful. And as the ship rises, everybody rises, right? And so I like that there's skin in the game. That's the selling point to me. It's like, if you didn't have that, then what would be the motivation? I mean, it's all, to me, I just feel like we're in it together. So I don't feel like you're working, you are working for Heidi and I, but you're working for you too, so.
And I would just add one thing to that. Like, my big takeaway was, what was big for me is like, and I looked at a lot of different companies outside of GJ3. Sorry.
She did.
I
Sorry.
Did. Because my brother was interested as well. So we were both on this journey together, and he ended up going with someone else. But one thing that was big for me that kind of like tipped the scale, well, first of all, I liked them.
Yeah.
So that helps. That helps. But I didn't want them to be taking a cut until we were driving a profit.
Right.
And so in full transparency, we just paid them their first invoice, and we've been doing this a year, outside of the initial investment. And so that was a really big selling point because, you do have a lot of ad spend up front, and if we're all of a sudden paying them their cut, and then it felt like that doesn't feel almost fair. Yeah. So it's a cut of the profit, not revenue, which will be important because your ad spend is high, so you need to obviously exceed
So does that money go back in? So if you're making money month like 2, 3, 4, but you're not, you've got revenues coming in, but technically it's not your profit.
Your ad spend is too high.
Your ad spend is too high. Right. So the money is going back into the ad spend until you're profitable.
Exactly.
Right?
That's how we do it. Yeah, and the way we set it up is, we did a business bank account with a business credit card. And so the ad spend is hitting the credit card. And then when Amazon pays us for the sales, then it just transfers, we just transfer it over to the credit card to pay off the credit card. and that's just worked for us. So personally, like Heidi and I, we really wanted to keep it super separate from like our personal bank accounts and stuff. And we've been really fortunate to do that.
So you have an LLC then?
We do.
Okay.
We do.
And they'll take you.
They'll
through
help
the
you with that.
LLC
They set
process.
up the LLC.
Yeah.
That's what I was wondering.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
included in the.
Do you do the taxes too?
No, but we have a very good friend who, if you need help with like QuickBooks, she will. I mean, you could pay her to do it. It's so easy though with QuickBooks. Yeah, I mean, I do it. I mean, I like every month. Yeah, and I just reconcile every month, and then it'll just go right to our account, and then he'll take care of our store that way. Yeah. So, and I'll tell you, our ad spend, it's been about on average 500 a week is what we spend on ad spend, but that's gonna change because now we're in the. It's all about reviews. It has everything to do with reviews. And what's great about whatever product you choose, his team will give you like what people in that world in terms of market share, like how much they're making with that product based on market share.
Well, and you're considered a female-owned business.
Yes.
Also, right?
Yes.
So, from a tax perspective, I'm guessing like,
We have that on our stuff. We have a female-owned
there's
logo
gotta be
on it.
certain
Yeah.
other benefits. to
Sure.
that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, because everybody's looking for passive income and.
We probably could have gone to like some like place to get like a grant or something if we really wanted to as a female-owned business. Neither one of us did that though. We just decided to go to a bank and get a loan.
Well, and for ours, I'm the seller, so
you're the female owned.
Mhm.
yeah, because
Own operator.
my
Yeah, it's in Heidi's name. It's
yeah,
not my name.
So because it truly is one person,
Mhm.
so and
Yeah,
mine's
you
worked at
can-
Wells Fargo, we didn't do it that way. So
With partnerships, Amazon will allow you to have a partner, right? So as long as the LLC is legit, what we tell people, and I'm kind of not changing my mind on it, but I'm getting less and less PTSD about it because of what happened to me.
Right.
Once your name is burned, you're burned. Now we have never in all our years of scaling stores for clients, we've never had one get deactivated. JG3 has always had healthy accounts, healthy stores, but based on what I went through with my friends, it's just what I told them was, look, just to be on the safe side, if anything comes down the pike from Amazon and they say, we don't like people named Heidi today, we're shutting those stores down, she can have one.
I can step in.
So
my name's not on it.
Yeah. They're on the LLC.
Right.
So legally they both.
Right.
But Amazon doesn't know me.
Now, are you on the LLC also?
No.
So it's
No,
separate. It's
it's
just a
ours.
consulting agreement or a contract management agreement
Correct.
that is.
Yep.
Yeah, we don't have any ownership of any stores.
No, we pay them their cut, so it's all like Amazon. Everything goes through our store.
And if you go away,
We're in trouble.
you're screwed.
You're screwed.
What about insurance?
For
Amazon requires you to have insurance after you get to a certain point.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I can't remember what it's a threshold of minimum revenue per month that you have to hit, but they require you to have business insurance, which is not very expensive. So it kind of covers, if anybody said, oh your Amazon product was defective and did such and so, we've never had an issue with that.
Right.
But Amazon, they're pretty picky about dotting all the I's and crossing the T's, so to speak.
it is good that they're a team and it's not just him.
Oh yeah, there's no way I
Right.
can do it.
Well, and it sounds like if your brother's doing it, there's other people out there that, like, if all of a sudden,
We suspect
God
her.
forbid, you get hit by a truck and
Yeah,
the team
and
can't pull it together, and
we've
now you
got-
need somebody to manage because we don't know what we're doing.
we've got contingency plans in place.
I'm expecting her brother to come to George's
Well, you know what's interesting?
because
I'll say
he's
this
kind
one
of
thing,
doing some
is
funky
because
stuff.
he started out doing wholesale stuff.
Yes, he did.
And then all of a sudden, because that was what I was watching, like, because we had a very honest conversation, he was reselling products, and it didn't work. So now all of a sudden, the company has flipped, and now they're doing private label, and he's selling coffee, and he just started that, and I'm like, all right. So it's been helpful. Not that I don't trust them, but it's been helpful to have two different perspectives from his company and this company, and then to
And see how they're-
to kind of overlap the information, and I have full confidence in they're doing based on the stuff that he's told me.
Yeah, my background as a finance guy, financial services guy, I'm very big on insurance. I'm very big on contingency plans. So these guys know, like, I got a life insurance policy on him even. I got, like, it's because really and truly, I mean, we're up to 20 people between two teams. Probably not anybody, there's nobody in that picture that I can do without, I can tell you that. The Untouchables. And there's probably about 5 below them I can't do without. And ain't none of this running without me, so. It's like, I mean, I say that in jest, they probably could run it without me at this point, but yeah, we do have things in place to where clients are protected and it won't just stop. So,
So you were talking earlier about like this being tapped into like some significant data about what everybody's selling. Is that like proprietary or how, like, is that a thing Amazon could change on you? Like if that data feed kind of dries up, what happens?
They could. I mean, I'm not going to say they can't, but there's different software companies, that work strictly in e-com.
Yeah.
And they have these deals with Amazon that says,
oh, so it's like a data feed or a broker or something like that.
There's all kind of different ones out there. That's the one we use. But it basically, like I said, it gives you an X-ray machine to everybody's, SKU numbers.
Yeah.
The biggest thing, I mean, like I said, there's nothing that we're like reinventing the wheel as far as products go. The biggest thing is having a team that knows how to get you ranked, knows the importance of how good your listing looks. Because I'm sure you guys have been on, shopping. I buy through the pictures. 90% of people on Amazon are buying through the infographics.
Yeah.
That very rarely do I go back and go down and read the bullet points.
Yeah.
Unless I'm looking for something really specific. I'm a car guy, so a lot of times I'll go in there and look for a specific part. Other than that, though, if I'm like, hey, I need a new, duster for my garage, I'm looking, okay, they have really good pictures. The reviews are good? Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's the
I'm
one.
buying it within 30 seconds.
That's right.
Yeah.
So what's our biggest risk?
Biggest
Sorry.
That's a good question. That's a great question. Okay, tell the scenario. So like if you, let's say we picked a product that looked like it was going to trend and we spend and it's going nowhere.
Yeah.
How do you handle that?
We replace the product for free.
So
I always
very,
think, like,
very little risk.
We'll just take the 45,000 price point, right? One product. We go to market with that product and we're 8 months in and you guys are spending a ton of PPC money and it's just not moving. The team's going to come to you before you come to us and say, this one ain't jobbing. We need to back up.
How often does that happen?
Twice.
Does that then put you, like, now you're going to do another product, does that put you in that waiting period of getting that product manufactured and all the, okay.
Yeah. And usually it's
Start
about,
over, yeah.
from the time we hit the green light with the manufacturer, it's about a 30 to 45 day manufacture time. And then about another 30, 45 days to ship it.
But for us, for example, and you, like starting, it's about 8 months. Like,
yeah, I mean,
we signed with you in January, and our product is on the boat. So hopefully launching.
Yeah, and and we made decisions that delayed the launch. Like
Same here too.
yeah, okay, because like we didn't like the logo, we changed our logo. We didn't like our colors, we changed our. I mean, so like if you're going to be, you could be so picky about it, and it could take forever to launch. And Heidi and I looked at each other and said, "Yeah, we don't care. It's fine. It's good enough. We just want to get it launched, right?" And then we were ready to launch, and it was too close to Christmas because then it's so expensive. Because Amazon jacks up their prices to have shelf space at that time of year. So they are smart enough to say we could launch, but it's going to cost you guys so much money on spend, and I just don't think it's smart to do it. So we waited. We were ready to go like right before Christmas, but we were disappointed. Heidi and I were like, "Aw." We thought it was just naturally you want to get your stuff out by Christmas, but it was really smart to wait, and we launched in February, and that was the right thing to do. And then we had our first Prime Day, and that was unbelievable. We did great. Our Prime Day was really good. And they do, how many Prime Days a year? Two?
Two.
Yeah.
So we had, I mean, really good success with the first Prime Day. We were real happy with it.
What they do on Prime Day?
Yeah,
Matt?
we
Do you remember? Just on the day, not
I mean, we like sold like a month's worth, and
Over 200 units.
yeah, it was crazy. In
They
a day.
did $8,000 of total revenue in that month of Prime Day.
It's a good month.
And they were only live like 3 months. And they say a year, but they've only been live since like March. So to be where they're at, they're trucking.
But you have to, I tell everybody, like my family and anybody who's interested in it, it's owning a business. So it's not a get rich quick. This is not get rich quick. This is not, I can't say that very fast. You're not going to, invest in a business and then be like, okay, now I'm going to sit and collect my checks. You got to give it. I mean, you're going to be paying to rank. You got to, we went into it with our eyes wide open, I think, Heidi and I. Like, we're like, we're not going to make any money for at least a year to 2 years. I mean, if we can make money after a couple of years, which is great. I'm like, now I'm looking at it going, imagine where we're going to be in 5 years. And now I've got my son going, can I have dibs on the Amazon store? Can I inherit that? Can that be in the will? And I'm like, well, we'll talk. So
what is a monthly spend? Because you talked about the 45.
ours is 500
$500
a week.
Right. So are you looking at the 45? Let's just say you use one product, right? And then you're looking at $2,000 or $2,000 a month.
Yeah, and usually the way it works, I'll give you an example. Month 1 is going to be all spend. Right? We're trying to get the initial ranking. So you might, let's just say you spend $1,500. We launch in September. October, you might spend $1,500, but you might have deposits from Amazon coming in for like $500.
Right.
So your net's, out of pocket's $1,000. After that, it's a little bit better.
It's all based on product success.
Yeah, it is. I mean, everybody's different, right?
Right.
Like they scaled up quicker with 4 or 5 months. I think, what did they hit even on, Zach? Month 4? It was like their first break even.
Yeah.
And that means you've recouped your investment.
No.
You're not.
It's just breaking even.
Oh, you're
It means like if we spend $2,000 that month, we also made $2,000 that month. So it's a wash. So every time we get a deposit in our account from Amazon, I mean, as of right now, it's just going to our credit card because our credit card's what's paying our PPC. And we're fine with that because it's a business thing. It's not coming out of our personal bank account. It's not coming out of my budget. It's just the credit card. And
when have you forecasted you're going to break even on your investment then?
I don't know, where do you think we'll be there?
Y'all probably, I don't know, that's
With the next Prime Day?
What would you say, Zach? Because you look at their numbers more than
What's next year? 2025. So call it maybe.
So 2 years.
Second
3
quarter.
years.
A couple of years.
After launching, they're probably on pace to be about a year and a half.
The market share for our product. How much is that one company that has the most market share? Is it like 250,000 a month? It's like stupid money, guys. It's for these little trays. We just want 3%. We just want 3% of the market share. If we get 3% of the market share, then we're close to 30,000 a month with a 70-30 split. And that
gross?
yes.
Gross.
And I'm like, yippee, 3%. So
But you found
then
an
what do you-
influence.
yeah, I do that just to supplement because I'm trying to get natural ranking.
Yeah. Right.
But anybody can do that. That's easy.
Yes. Yeah.
That's super easy. It doesn't take any time at all. I'll like once a week just message people on Instagram and say, would you
Is
consider?
there a product life that goes along with it? I mean, you estimate a product.
absolutely. Yeah, I mean,
So this product life might be 3 years, and you're hoping you get your return at least minimum on that. And then you launch another potential.
I mean, they might, we were looking at,
We're gonna add another product, but then we decided we wanted because we came in before the before the registration. Yeah, brand registry. So we're one of those that he came to us and said, we really need to do this. It's going to be a few thousand. We got to, and we looked at each other and said, well, of course we're going to do it, right? Now it's built in to the sauce, so you guys are all covered if you decide to go to business with him. But that's helped a lot. I've already noticed our ranking our reviews have increased, and I like the idea of being protected because that scares me. The idea of somebody stealing that they could just like start selling my product, and it really is the wild, wild west. So you got to do everything you can to protect yourself. But I think we're on track now. So we are going to do the whole idea is we'll add another product at some point.
What's the incremental investment with each product?
So if you any product you add is 15,000.
Okay,
So
so
and
you
just
do
to
the
break,
initial 45.
So we can add
then
another
maybe
one.
a year later, you
Right.
might want to add another 15 grand because you want to add another product.
Right.
And then as you phase this product out, you've got another one coming in. Maybe you have another,
Right.
but you just kind of keep a
rotating.
cycle.
And you can
Just
kind of
try to
pick a
keep
theme
stuff.
if you want
Can
of
you
your
leave
store.
all of them just in your storefront forever? You don't have to like phase it out and like remove it. It just can be there forever. It just stops really producing for you.
Right. So at that point, then the investment mainly is to get your store up and running, get the brand going with regards to it. The product aspects of it are going to come and go
correct.
with regard. I got you.
Yeah, I don't believe any product is, got an infinite
Unlimited shelf.
Forever.
Right,
You know,
right,
and
right.
you're gonna have to.
Unless you sell
It's your
trash
brain,
bags.
recognition.
Exactly.
Pretty much everything.
It's just like Pier 1, right? I mean, lines of furniture and candles or whatever they've got. They're always switching stuff out, but everybody knows Pier 1. My goal is everybody knows Hearthstone.
I was gonna say.
Everybody
So
knows
what does
Fort
that,
Worth.
what does that mean for your product then? So do you pick the same product that's in kind of the same category as what you currently have so that you can kind of
Keep
roll with the
You
same
can,
trend?
yeah.
Or you don't want to go sell a kitchen supply and then turn around and sell auto supply
Right, yeah.
Right,
We'd
with
want to
regards
keep
to
it with the same
within the same theme.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
There's so many choices too.
Yeah, no, I get it. I just,
Holy cow, there's so many choices. And it was really important to Heidi and I think you agreed with it, was I didn't, we met, okay, just so you know, we interviewed like a bunch of his clients because we didn't know him. And we're like, we just need to talk to people who've been doing this with them for a while. And we interviewed a guy who had a hose splitter. Remember him? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And he was great. And he was just like, and I'm like, a hose splitter. Wow. And you're making this much money on a hose splitter. Okay, that's good for you. But I left that meeting going, I do not want to do a hose splitter because that's a one and done. I wanted it, in my mind, it was like, I wanted a product that it could be a man or a woman that bought it. It could be purchased multiple times, like as gifts or for whatever. And so we love the trays just for that reason, because if you have a sink, everybody has sinks. Everybody can use a drying tray.
Everybody has more than one sink.
And a lot of people want, and my sister's a hairdresser, so I'm thinking hairdressers could use this, put the shampoo bottles on or whatever. And so I like that idea. And so they thought the same thing. They're thinking it has to be something that can be. I love pet stuff though, just because the market for pet stuff. So I went into originally thinking I was going to do a pet thing.
But the pet market is extremely competitive.
Yeah.
It is. I mean,
Yeah.
It takes longer to rank and scale those.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of a disclaimer if we have somebody that
Really
comes
wants a
to us
pet.
and says, I really want to do an adjustable pet bowl or something. Like, okay, cool, but your scale time is probably going to be double from what theirs was.
So what are some of your products in the pipeline right now that are trending that you don't necessarily
Like
know
in
anyone-
the product queue that we haven't launched. What are some we got?
We've got some roll-out stone trays, similar to.
Hey,
Yours.
what? Those? Wait a minute. That's supposed to. Okay.
We've got
Dibs on that.
like 3-tier wooden, we can call it cologne stand or perfume stand or makeup stand. We've got
Kitchen organization.
kitchen
Under
organization.
the sink organization.
Oh my gosh, that's
That's
so
for
in right
home
now.
organization.
So in, yeah. Yep.
But you can go on Amazon and look at a product and it'll say 1K plus per was bought this month. So you can start looking at products yourself to see like you love the little jade
Yeah, those
roller
little
thing.
jade
I mean, what's
rollers,
like
there's
9,000 a
million.
month that are sold.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's like $10.
But they range in price. So I went by okay, they all look exactly the same. I read the whole description. And usually it'll say, Amazon pick or whatever, Amazon what do they call it? Bestseller. Yeah.
That means it's ranked.
That means it's ranked.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that it's better than the others. It just means that
It's been around the longest.
It hit the metrics through their AI system to get that badge. That's all that means.
Oh my goodness.
So if you get a product like the charcuterie boards, you manufacture so many with their logo. At what point? So like you said, if it takes 2 to 3 years, if you run out of product, do you pre-order the amount that you need, or do you do it in stages?
We forecast. So, give an example. What we did with their stone trays. I think we did. What we do.
We just did a ton of them, and the guy, the distributor, said he would store them for us if we wanted to. But
So
then you like the idea of having them all shipped.
But when we started, we don't want to like go gung ho and say, hey, we want 1,000 units of this. We want to make sure, hey, let's do 300 to 500. Make sure it's going to rank and sell.
Amy, why does he
Then
like
we'll go
me so
back.
much?
That's why, like, your
I
first.
mean, why? He's never made out with me.
Your first year of trying to scale is always a work in progress. And what I mean by that is your initial run of something is always going to be the most expensive. Because that's the first time we're branding it like that. They're not going to give you as good a deal on 300 to 500 as they would 5,000, right? So a lot of what I commend my team for is they're always going back to the suppliers, probably once a month, every 2 months with every product and saying, we do a reorder for this, what's the best unit price you can get? And then we're playing that against another supplier we found that can make the same thing and saying, well, these guys will get it for $5.50 a unit with $2 shipping. And so it's just a game that first year of going back and forth, because the lower we can get your COGS down, the cost of goods, the higher your profitability is going to be, the sooner you're going to be profitable.
So when you're looking at products, what are you looking for from a cost of goods sold to like a net profit? Like where's your sweet spot?
Like the margin.
We're looking at volume, right? First and foremost, how many units did this product sell within this amount of time? You know, what are they doing per month? And then we're looking at, okay, these three right here are selling good, but their infographics are really crappy. We can do better than that. And we can make a better looking listing. When we go and look for products to research, we're not looking at all of the good reviews. We're looking at all the bad. We're looking at what people didn't like about it and how we can fix it. So for instance, we did, y'all seen those car seat gap fillers?
Yeah.
Right? It's huge on Amazon. We started out doing one, and the gap filler itself was doing really good. Well, then we started looking at the reviews, and we said, well, shoot, we can add a little brush, you know, to get your vents clean and all that, and a little microfiber cloth for your screen or whatever. We were able to up the price like $8 a unit just for adding those two little things that I think the brush was like 30 cents.
That's right.
And then the cloth was like 10 cents.
Can't beat them, join them.
So it's just like I said, it's always a work in progress. We might start with one variation of something and come back to you and say, hey, when we do a reorder, we're going to do it this way. So it's always just improving on it. The thing I tell people, the information to do the research is there. You just got to know what to look for. Well, most people don't know what to look for, or they don't know everything to look for, to make the next thing that you launch in that category better than what was previously on there. And like I said, I'm not, you know, is our gap filler the best? No. I've seen other ones out there, but the unit price is more. But as I say, you know, as you grow the brand, maybe we get a different variation of it. Maybe we add one with a cup holder. Maybe we add, you know, accessories to make it fit different kind of center consoles. So it's, I mean, like I said, there's nothing that is a, you know, 10 commandments set in stone way to do in an Amazon store. The way I tell people is every product we launch is a different Rubik's Cube that we got to figure out. But once we get it figured out in the first 1 to 8 months of scaling, we're usually pretty good at it.
What's the most expensive product you sell?
Wine rack? Yeah. That wine rack in there, that thing's like what, $60?
50 right now.
Yeah.
That originally was at 60.
Yeah. Most of the stuff we have is somewhere between 20 and 45 as far as sale price.
And kind of piggyback on the product selection is we don't choose a product that doesn't have at least 10 or 20 top competitors that do less than 10,000 K a month of revenue. So that's one of the first stipulations that we look at. And like what George was saying, we go back and look at all the negative reviews for a product and see how we can make it better. Not necessarily, like you said, change the wheel, but you know, just figure out ways to improve it or add accessories, make it more appealing to the customers.
It's like with the stone trays. Their next order, the thing we noticed is people they weren't complaining about it to a mass extent or anything, but they would be like, oh, well, I can't clean it. I'm using this and I can't clean it. Well, conversations with me and we had to have with Heidi and Michelle is like, yeah, you can clean it with OxyClean, but OxyClean's trademarked and we can't put OxyClean in the listing or we're going to get sued.
Right.
And I've already been sued by S.C. Johnson this one time this year. So
We're not going to get
I'd rather
sued.
not do that again. Because we used the word Ziploc.
So we were going to rhyme it. We were going to do like, you can clean it with. We were trying to think of what rhymes with OxyClean.
But the best way to get those stone trays to look new again is with like a little
sandpaper. Mm-hmm.
So we went to the include that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Went to the manufacturer and said, hey, how much would it cost to put a little disc in there?
Just a little sandpaper.
Now you're getting that with the.
We do a little pamphlet that goes inside the package that is like how to clean it. Deep clean and regular clean, and you can customize it. Like we wrote a little note.
We wrote a little note. Yeah.
You know, so that's kind of
thanking
cool.
them
Gives it
for
a
supporting us.
touch with our logo.
Yeah. Did everyone?
There's a
see
card
the
in
products?
there too. Yeah, there's the products and the cards are in
Yeah,
there.
they're on the
You can
table.
do it.
Yeah.
Probably the old card too. The new one has a QR code on it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but ours,
So now we
you
have
have
a
the card
sneaky
in there
way
for
to-
ours.
Yeah, now we have a
Brand
sneaky
register,
way
yeah.
No, not even brand register, but to acquire customers' emails because you can't do it through Amazon. It's a policy violation of their personal policy of privacy or whatever.
Everything's a policy.
But then if they have a question about how to clean it,
So-
they can scan the
Yeah,
QR
they can scan
code
the
and then
QR
you can
code.
respond to them and tell them they can use
Yes.
OxyClean?
Yes.
So
It's
there's ways
basically
around
like
it.
register your product here by scanning it.
Okay.
And then we just capture their email address and we can also blast out emails if we have new products. So whenever they go launch a new product, if it's in the same category or even if not, we can send out mass email to all those customers.
Do you all own those emails?
Here's some new products coming from our stuff.
Pass it around. Who owns the email list?
We have a new card now.
Joanne, this is theirs, and then this is.
So you guys,
This is what ours. Yeah.
you mentioned something about first order, something like that. And second, like, so how does that work? Like when you get another batch, run another lot. So is all this stuff getting shipped from like a manufacturer somewhere? Goes to like an Amazon distribution center somewhere? That's what they like, right? They don't want it to go skip over them. They like to be in the middle of that.
No, it'll, we give the manufacturer instructions. Sometimes it depends
And
on
then one product
the
with the little
pricing of
white
what they
bag.
charge to ship. And then we'll compare that to our freight forwarder that we
Are
use.
you gonna put this on it?
And whoever wins.
Yeah, cute.
obviously
I love
in the
it.
long run,
It's so
saves
cute.
You guys more money.
Yeah.
But yeah, like everything goes from manufacturer to usually a West Coast port of the U.S.
Yeah.
And then they distribute it to 3 or 4 different Amazon and FBA centers.
Yeah.
And that's how, there's nothing that we sell that's not a prime product. So everything's at least 2-day delivery.
So then, a minute ago, like a little
That's
while
ours.
ago, you talked about sort of like 20% gross, like 20% margins kind of on stuff. Is that about average?
On average, usually we're between 25 and 45 depending on the product.
Oh, okay.
It just depends on the category. So Amazon charges different Amazon fees depending on the category and the size and weight of your units. So like there's one, I'm trying to think of one, we did a under sink organizer a couple years ago. No, it was a shoe rack, that's what it was. But the box was this long.
Yeah.
About like that. Amazon fees killed us. Just because of the odd shape of the box.
Yeah.
You could have something that weighed just as much but comes in a box half that size, your Amazon fees like 40% less.
Yeah.
So, like I said, Amazon is literally insulated
Oh yeah.
on every single aspect.
And they bill for that storage space at the time of sale? Or?
So what they do, and this is another thing, we had to kind of regroup and think about how we launch things. Used to be your first year of going live with a product, Amazon did not bug you with storage fees. Then they changed it to where it was a 6-month and then it permitted. So the first 6 months you're usually okay. Then after that they really start hitting you. It's not as bad because, like I said, usually your first 6 months of going live, we have one objective, and it is not to make you money. I know that sounds weird. Now that's not saying you won't get deposits, but our number one goal is the volume. So we want to sell out of that first order as fast as we can. One, because it gets you out of the storage fee purgatory,
Mhm.
but 2, it helps you rank.
Mhm.
The more volume you do early on, the better your store's going to rank. So when we reorder, that's why I say we like to start off with, even though your first order is usually more expensive per unit, and to give you guys an idea how that breaks down, if you do a 2-product store, $55,000 up front, right? Half that store fee is gone like literally day 1 to your first round of manufacturing, branding, and shipping.
Mhm.
Your infographics, depending on how many we do, infographics, the ones we do that I pay my team to do, are not cheap, and they're worth it. When we first started,
That's right, Biscuit.
just tell them, Biscuit. When we first started, when we did our own product, we were going on like Fiverr and saying, hey, do these infographics for like $30, and worked out good. When we first started, you could throw a dart at a wall and hit a product on Amazon, and you make $3-4 grand a month. Now, the more competitive it's gotten, that's why, like when I had those buddies of mine that I brought in for that first bad deal, as soon as they saw
still your buddies?
Oh,
No,
yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, they are. And most of them still own stores in some capacity. But that's how we got the idea to scale, because they saw the seat cushions and then they came to us going, okay, do that for me. And so that's where we got the idea. I mean, obviously Amazon, like I said, they only let you have 1 seller account per address, but I was like, wait a minute, we can actually do this for other people, and then it kind of just blew up.
This might be a silly question, but
No such thing.
just curious, like, is there a point at which it's just oversaturated? There's too many sellers, there's not enough customers. I mean, I know that, like we say on the...
Are we jumping on board too late?
Well,
Is there everyone
ish,
else in
I mean,
front of us?
ish, but, like, I mean, there's what, 500 billion people on the internet? I don't know, some
Yeah.
crazy,
Yeah.
50, whatever. But I'm just curious, like, at, things... I'll just leave it at that. Is that,
Yeah, I mean,
is that a
that's
thing?
a good question. I mean,
Good
I think
question.
certain categories and certain products can get oversaturated. Like I said, it really just depends on how good we are at following the trends of what's selling. Half of mine and his personal Instagram thread is me sending him stuff that you see the things on Instagram like, oh, this is the next best thing for the pantry, I'll be up at 3 a.m. sending him stuff, and he'll wake up and goes, good God, dude, like, you got a bunch of stuff to research now. But it's kind of an evolving thing. Do I think it's ever like oversaturated for new store owners to get involved? No. I think you just got to be smart with what products you pick, and be smart.
And good partners.
Yeah, I mean, you got to have people that
who know what they're doing. Yeah, you could waste a lot of money if you didn't know what you were doing.
Oh, I mean,
oh my gosh.
Yeah, there's horror stories. Trust me. I mean, I've between store fees and paying out in PPC to people who didn't know what they were doing, that was a good chunk of that $250,000.
Easily, yeah.
There's probably been months I've wasted like $7 grand. Well, I say they've wasted $7 grand of my money. But yeah, I mean, we try to outline things in our contract to give you guys the right expectations. Like, here's what your credit line should be. Not saying we're going to use all of it, but for PPC purposes and reorders and things like that, that's what we try to make sure everyone is prepared for.
I'm going to turn off the recording.
Go ahead.
I think you did a really good job. So
Y'all did a good job too.
To my friends.